What a game tonight in the NBA. It's Lakers and Warriors in the Western Conference play-in. It's the 7-8 matchup. It is for all the marbles. And the simple question is, if you are a Utah Jazz fan, who should you be rooting for? And I would tell you point blank, you're rooting for the LA Lakers. Because in that scenario, if they win, the Lakers get the 7th seed. And in the 7th seed, they would match up with the Phoenix Suns in the first round of the NBA playoffs. So I would tell you, Jake, if you're a Jazz fan, I think you're rooting hard for the Lakers tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The ideal outcome here is that the Lakers win this game. If you're the Jazz, you're scouting the hell out of this game because, either way, there's a chance that you're going to play one of these teams here, in the next month or so. So you're going to watch and see.
In the next month or so?
Yeah, in the next couple weeks.
Okay. All right.
Is that wrong?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay, so let's say the Lakers win.
You're not going to see them for at least 2 weeks if you were to match up with them. And then the Warriors would have to go and play whoever wins, the other matchup.
They'd have to play the 9-10 winner.
So
then they would play the Utah Jazz.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You have the potential that you'll see one of these two teams depending on.
You can see both of them within the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. So my point just is you're going to scout this game a lot. You're going to see how the Lakers handle Steph Curry because that really is the key to stopping Golden State. You can't allow Steph to go for 40 or potentially even 50 in basically what is not a do or die scenario, because either way, you're going to get another game, but you don't want to be playing one of the 9 or 10 seeds. You don't want that extra game on your legs. So I think it's more so for the Lakers. This is a huge game. I think for LeBron in this game, it goes without saying there's a lot on the line for him. I think if he were to lose this game, the media will not be kind to him. However, if he were to win this game and then they were to go on to make a finals appearance down the line, I think now you've got a great story about LeBron James leading his teams no matter what happens to him, whether it's the bubble, whether it's a play-in tournament, whether it's him versus the super team that was Steph, KD and Clay. Now you've got a real, that would be insane. So, if you're a Jazz fan, yeah, you want the Lakers to win this game because, again, just like we said yesterday, you don't want to see the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round. That is not the path to the promised land if you're the Utah Jazz. So you should definitely be a Lakers fan tonight. That said, me personally, I hope Steph gives us 50 tonight, and this is a close game and really a tight game in the fourth quarter. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, and I don't think there's any question, at least I don't have any question, that this is going to be one of the best games of the year. I think you are going to see, and I hesitate because I want to say, you're going to see one of the performances of a lifetime out of either LeBron, AD, or Steph Curry. One of those three is going to have a monumental night tonight. And if the Dubs stand any chance, I think it's got to be Steph Curry. He's got to be in form that we have probably never seen him in form in the past. He's got to go off, and he's got to go off from the first drop. The first 3 balls got to go in. The next one, the next one, the next one, they've got to go in.
Yeah.
The Warriors have to have momentum, Jake, because I think the matchup is 100% in the Lakers' favor.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the roster, you look at the personnel that the Lakers have. Again, I know we spent a ton of time on this yesterday. So if you listen to the show yesterday, you obviously remember that we talked about, how deep this Lakers team is. And so if you're the Warriors, you got a key on Steph Curry being productive early in this game. You cannot afford to get down, I would say even 10, 12, 15 points. That if that happens in this game, you're really going to struggle to win this game because you do not have the firepower across the court to overcome the defense of the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's why Steph Curry is such a threat, because he doesn't need to get into the paint to be effective. Now, obviously, I'm sure that he's going to try to tonight because that really opens things up. But he could just simply stand around the arc, use the screens, use his handle to get his looks, and those looks will go in. And so that's why I say with the Lakers and what they bring to the table, I think they're going to feature Anthony Davis. I think he's going to prove a point in the first quarter that he's here to dominate them, and I think LeBron will work off of that depending on if AD's shot is falling or not. And let's say that his shot is not falling. well, now we're going to start to see the Lakers move the ball around. Now we're going to start to see LeBron really impact the game. So I think either way, I think the Lakers win this game at the end of the day. But if you're a Jazz fan, I don't be surprised if you get a special performance out of Steph Curry tonight.
Well, and man, he's capable of it, right? Like,
For sure.
there's no question.
Yeah.
He is, in my opinion, the most valuable player in the NBA. That doesn't mean he'll win it, by the way. I think that's Nikola Jokic. But I think Steph Curry has shown you over the last 2 months that there is no more volatile player, volatile scorer, more important player to his team than Steph Curry to the Golden State Warriors of San Francisco, no longer Oakland. I feel like he is absolutely integral to what he does. But I think they win and lose this game with Andrew Wiggins tonight. And because he's not going to be able to do it alone. And you know that you're going to lose the matchup of the bigs. Draymond is probably not going to be a major factor offensively, at least putting the ball in the hole, because he is going to be worn out on LeBron and AD. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I'm telling you, Andrew Wiggins has to have a 25-point game. And I actually think that Steph's got to score 40 and Wiggins has to score 25, or they're just not going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have 40 out of Steph. I think that's like the starting point. And then, yeah, to your point, I think that's a great observation. You know, Wiggins is a guy who, you know, the story of his career has been that he has underachieved, that he has not lived up to the draft slot where he, you know, the draft pick, he has not lived up to the expectations coming out of college. And I think that Andrew Wiggins is a guy who is capable of scoring, but can he do it against the best? Because this Lakers team is an elite defensive team when they are 100% healthy like they will be tonight. So when I look at Wiggins, you know, he's going to get a lot of his production done on the block and at the elbow. And if his shot's falling, and then you've got Steph's shot falling, then they've got a chance. But I just still maintain that the firepower for the Los Angeles Lakers is too much. And furthermore, if you're a Jazz fan tonight, watch this Lakers offense closely. Watch how they operate. Watch what they do, because this is, you know, when we talk about this game tomorrow, we're going to talk about, hey, based on what we saw tonight, you as a Jazz fan, what do you think? And I can tell you right now, you know, you're going to see a big game out of Anthony Davis. I think you're going to see a big assist game, a big facilitator role game for LeBron James, and all the other guys, they'll do what they usually do, and that's why they'll win the game. So for the Lakers, I think you're fine. I think you're going to control this game. I don't think you're going to be pressed too much. For the Warriors, it's going to take, again, I know we upset some people, but you're going to have to be God in this game if you're Steph Curry to win this game.
Yeah, how about that conversation yesterday? Good Lord. We had the religious figures conversation yesterday.
I didn't sleep for the past 2 nights because of this. I was that upset.
We upset some people apparently. But the point is, listen, I think if you are the Lakers tonight, this is where that depth that developed through all these injuries, this is where it has to come through. I mean, I look at guys like Cantavius. I look at Caruso. I'm curious to see what you get out of a guy like Montrezl Harrell, because do we see him play minutes tonight? He has not played. Andre Drummond has started, and really, Andre Drummond has been the guy in the middle to the point where Montrezl Harrell has had trouble getting on the floor. You can't tell me that Frank Vogel and the Lakers are just going to eliminate Montrezl Harrell from their offense or from their rotation. I don't see that happening.
Right.
But it'll be interesting to see, you know, how does Montrezl Harrell get back in the rotation for the Lakers? What impact does he have on a game like this where you don't have, I mean, if you really think about the rotation for the Golden State Warriors, you really don't have a guy in the middle that you have to worry about at all. I mean, with Wiseman being out, I think this becomes a very limited offense in the middle. I mean, Kevon Looney's never going to scare anybody offensively. Mm-hmm. Defensively, he's serviceable. I wouldn't say he's great. And then that's why I say I look at Draymond Green. I think Draymond Green's going to have to play Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And my question is, who's going to match up at that point with LeBron James?
That's probably Wiggins. I don't think you have another choice.
That's a disaster. And Wiggins is good, not great defensively. And I think that's what brings me back to Wiggins has to make good on offense, because nobody's going to guard LeBron if he is, and we'll see how that ankle is, by the way.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to guard LeBron one-on-one and effectively shut him down.
Right.
I don't think that's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see, how that plays out. All right, let's get some of your comments in here. Shal Mir Bahai. You're just going to be Bahai.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Yeah, well, apparently that guy is a commenter. Shal says, "Heyo,
Hello.
heyo." Gabe Ledley says, 7:15, boys, let's go. 715 subscribers.
Hey, I mean, we've been telling you guys, clock's ticking. When you
I
guys
don't
subscribe
know,
and get in.
Listen, I don't know how the meteoric subscriber count has happened. Well, I do. I mean, we're amazing and stuff.
Are we clear on that?
But the point is, 35 subscribers to go until we give away a PS5. By the way, a lot of people want to know what's going to happen at 1,000. We probably ought to get game plan.
Yeah, I guess I should call the Lambo dealer. Gonna have to find gonna have to go
Find
crazy.
if they have a keychain we can give
yeah,
away.
Jeez.
But we'll come up with something legit for 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Because we've added 100 subscribers a week every week for about 8 weeks now.
Yeah.
It's really, probably less than that. Probably the last month, 4 to 6 weeks. We've added 100 subscribers a week every week. And we are just so thankful that you guys are here, that you watch us and you support us. So thank you for that. Bahai says, what if Steph goes bonkers and DeRozan be like, F it, the whole LeBronto S. I want revenge. Wow, Bahai getting loose with the lingo. If the Lakers lose tonight, I think you're upset as a Jazz fan. I can tell you that. You don't want this because they're not losing to San Antonio.
No.
Who I think will beat Memphis. They're not losing to San Antonio. Sakshay, good morning to you, bud. Lakers win is good for the Jazz. Yes, it is. Put the Lakers in the 7 and you probably don't see them.
Yeah.
And if you do, you're not going to see, a couple of other really good teams. So I say that's really good. Brylark says, hopefully those Lakers injuries get a little more aggravated by the time the Western Conference Finals come around, if and when the Lakers win.
That's what I'm saying.
Trap Steph and trap again and make somebody else beat you. I think you have to. But everybody tries to do that, but not everybody has the guard depth that the Lakers have to actually pull that off.
You're going to see Steph Curry run a track meet tonight, okay? And the reason that's going to happen is because they understand that the Lakers are going to double Steph Curry consistently. I mean, when you've seen Steph go off for his biggest games, it's been because teams are not stepping up on him off the pick and roll. And so tonight you can be rest assured that the Lakers will be pushing out to the 3-point line, and they're going to force him to run his butt off the most of the night. And Steph is just going to have to live with that. I mean, that this is one of those things that I feel like is, if he does this, if he goes for 50 against the Lakers, let's just say he goes for 50, it's one of those nights for him. This will go down as one of the greatest performances of his career if that happens.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it's going to take. Bahai says, I'm a Nuggets fan. Well, welcome. Nuggets fans are welcome. I mean, it'll be a short playoff for you if they don't get their guards healthy. I mean, the Nuggets, hey, man, the Nuggets are one of the more intriguing stories.
Yeah.
In the first round. I think that's something you got to watch. Ilert Gnick says it's just one game. Luck may be involved, like if Curry's 3 is connecting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brylark says Jazz playoff tickets for 1,000. Well, what does that do for the guy in Italy? Which, by the way, we have like 4 followers or subscribers in Italy. Mm-hmm. I can't stop saying followers.
You've been on Twitter for like 10 years.
I know. Well, and this is a cult, so we do have followers. Right. Red Heart Norvis says Lakers are the most dangerous and deepest team this season. Last year, Clippers are favorites to win, and they are better this year, but everyone says the Lakers will beat this supposedly better Clipper team.
What does better Clipper team even mean, though? I mean, their issue is never personnel. I mean, their issue is always chemistry and how it all kind of meshed together.
Well, but now the other thing that I think you have to consider is that you have Rajon Rondo there. I mean, I think that makes a huge difference. You can't have oddballs like Kawhi Leonard, with all due respect to Kawhi. He's just a weird dude, right? I mean, you can't have him and then have another oddball personality in Paul George, who, with all due respect, is just a weird dude. I want to be a Laker, so I'm going to sign with the Clippers. Bro, get on the meds. Like, that's weird to me.
Yeah.
And he's just not a guy, like, he's thin-skinned. He doesn't handle pressure well. Rajon Rondo doesn't care about the pressure.
Yeah.
Like, he's been there. He's done that. He's won rings. He's made the Lakers better. He made the Celtics a champion. He was one of those finishing pieces, right? I think he makes a big difference for this Clipper team. And by the way, I know he's not a star, but Ivica Zubac is playing incredible basketball.
Yeah.
And he tends to come out strong against the Lakers because the Lakers let him go. So all of this to say, I think the Clippers are better because they're more prepared for who they were supposed to be now as opposed to last year. But again, they haven't been healthy either, so keep that in mind. Vision Gaming says, hey guys, Monty Williams did it. Monty Williams deserves all the accolades he gets.
Yeah.
You know, like he was the Coaches Association Coach of the Year yesterday. So that's an incredible accolade for him. Bahai says, same for us both. I'm not sure what that means. Ricky Martinez says, don't call Kawhi weird. Look, Tricky Ricky, let me just explain to you, my friend. Kawhi Leonard, I mean, he's got longer fingers. No, I can't say that on the show. He's got fingers like redwood trees. We're all jealous of his fingers, which are thighs. Anyway, Cody Strickland says, good morning, boys. Sorry I missed a lot yesterday. 2 things I want to add to the Bill Gates thing. If he wants to bang anyone that wants him to, he will. He's a billionaire. Well, I mean, thank you for bringing that to the forefront. We talked about, yeah, like Bill Gates yesterday. In case you didn't hear, we talked about on the show yesterday that Bill Gates, we knew he resigned and he got divorced. Well, now we know it's because he got caught having an affair with a Microsoft employee. So they essentially kicked him off the board, and Melinda's like, peace out, thanks for the billions.
Yeah.
Right? And just walked away. 2, Cody Strickland says, Bill Gates doesn't care what us peasants people think. He's a billion. And
that's what I'm saying.
He's a billion and does not have to an F to give. Yeah, I don't give a takers. Yeah, no, neither does Bill Gates. See, like now, wait, just a sidebar. This cursing thing has become a problem.
What do you mean?
Well, because now it's turned into this whole thing where you guys curse too much. And don't you say the name Joseph Smith. So, like, it's becoming like YouTube commenters editing the narratives here, right?
Uh-huh.
If I offended anybody with our Joseph Smith, Jesus Christ backcourt, I apologize. It wasn't to be offensive. All right? I can say the Dalai Lama and Oprah Winfrey as your point guards, but they're not going to have the same impact on the game that Joseph Smith and Jesus Christ would.
Right.
So my point was, it doesn't matter who the point guards are or who the guards are. So if I offended you, go fuck off. No, I mean, wait. Yeah, no, wait. That came out wrong. No, seriously. If I offended you, I apologize. We occasionally curse on this show. Jake likes to play drops with F-bombs in them.
Fuck you.
Yeah. If you don't like cursing, we only have one thing to say to you.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck you. How's that?
We curse a little bit on this show. It's a
podcast. It's not a radio show. Dude, like this is the one thing that I can't get with. This is a podcast for a reason, right? Like, it's not like every other word is a curse word. We have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like we have great conversations. So I don't know, man. I get that everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I'm just telling you, it ain't gonna change.
Are we really up? James wants to know: Are we really upset that you guys use 4-letter words? Do people not leave the house? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Hey, God bless you. If you're insulated to the point where you don't curse and you don't have, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know. Bradlark says, guys curse as much as humanly possible. Please go against the grain. You know. Ricky Martinez says, wait, who's your guys' team? Well, Jake is Team Durant, and I am Team Devin Booker. By the way, everybody seemed to like that I said that I can't remember what I said. Slurpification of Devin Booker.
Wet like on book.
It gotten out of control.
Yeah.
True. Justin Swap says, rooting for the Dubs to knock LBJ out. Well, by the way, they can't knock him out. If whoever loses this game has to play the winner of the 9-10 game,
But-
the loser of the 9-10 game is out.
But isn't there? There has to be. There has to be some sense of like, LeBron is expected to win this game, right? Like the Lakers are expected to win this game.
They are, yes.
So yeah, you're not sending them home by beating them, but I think if the Dubs were to win this game, I mean that would be like a coup. Like that would be. I mean that would be.
It'd be a huge upset.
Yeah, I mean that would just be unbelievable. I mean I can see the headline now of like, oh, LeBron James and the Lakers fell apart in the first ever play-in tournament or something. Like that's what the narrative would be. And so that's why I say I don't think that that's going to happen. Yeah, do I think that Steph Curry is going to put up a ton of threes tonight? Yeah, I do. I think he's going to take 20 on his own for sure. Just play the odds because he's that good. So I'm telling you, he's going to have to make. There's a stat out there. I think he's got like 14 games this year where he's put up 10 threes. He's gonna need like 12, 15 threes tonight. I'm telling you.
Oh man, James Knight. Do I read this comment?
James
Knight says, "Bag alert, Bill."
Bag alert, Bill. That's awesome.
Damn it.
Well done, James.
Good job, James.
Well
That was
done.
funny. Bahai says, no, you don't. It's normal. It's not like you dropped an N-bomb. No. I mean, it ain't like that. Ricky Martinez, whatever you said, got edited by, so I'm assuming in curse, got edited by YouTube. Cody Strickland says, Curry will drop 40 tonight. Green will have 3 blocks and 20 plus. If Draymond scores 20 plus points tonight, I think they're going to win.
Yeah.
Because I think Wiggins is going to get his. He's been hot lately. If you're a Jazz fan, you're rooting for the Lakers. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
That'd be worst case scenario. No doubt about it. Achilles Jean-Pierre says LeBron hurt and AD's going to have to leave the game in the second quarter with a tweaked funny bone. Well, he did leave with a groin, a week ago now. This is why I wonder about Frank Vogel. Why was LeBron in the game? If you didn't see it the other night, the Lakers are up 12 points in a meaningless game.
Mm-hmm.
The Blazers won. The Lakers were going to be in the 7-8 play-in game. That was decided. LeBron James is in the game with a 12-point lead in a meaningless game with 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
He tweaks his ankle. He twists his ankle landing on somebody's foot. The same ankle he had the high ankle sprain in. And now he's a question of what's he going to be for this game? If LeBron doesn't play, this is a different conversation.
Yeah.
Or if he plays,
he's going to play. He's going to play.
If he plays and he limps around, this is a different conversation. So I can tell you, before he tweaked that ankle, he was tip dunking and jumping everywhere and
he was good.
Hitting threes.
Yeah, he was fine.
LeBronto was back.
Yeah.
LeBronto. He was good to go. Spencer Morgan says, "Look, I get favoring the Lakers here, but." Have we forgotten that Steph and Draymond are former champs and Steph is red hot lately? No, not at all.
No, I just think the thing that I am concerned about if you're a Warriors fan is just the amount of depth. Like I think the Lakers' second unit is just superior to anything that the Warriors are going to be able to offer coming off the bench, and so. Let's say that Steph plays 40 minutes tonight,
Yep.
Okay, well, you still got 8 minutes where he's not on the floor. You've still got those times when he's not going to be on the floor and the Lakers are going to have the opportunity to stretch that lead. And that's why I say, I don't think the Dubs are going to get blown out, but I do think the Lakers are going to control this game. I do think it's going to be an 8 to 10 point deficit most of the night, and Steph's going to have to chase that. And they'll get close. They'll probably close the second half or the first half strong. They'll head to the third quarter down by like 5 or 6, and then the Lakers are going to pull away in the fourth quarter. Like
I'm warning you right now, if you're a Jazz fan, you do not want the Lakers in the first round.
No.
You don't. And if you get the Lakers in the first round, sure, they will have played 2 more games. I totally get that, to leverage games against the Warriors and probably the Spurs. You're not getting... If you get the Lakers in the first round, I would put it at a 65% chance they beat you in the first round.
Why do you say that?
Because they have size, they have depth at the guard, and they have no problem guarding the 3-point stripe.
Right.
And we have seen all season long, with all due respect to the Jazz, and I'm not saying the Jazz can't handle it or adjust. They have a week to essentially rest.
You're always hating on the Jazz, man.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. This is a Jazz hater show. Anyway, the point is, we've seen all season long what is the the formula to beat the Utah Jazz? Push out defensively, force them to drive, force the Jazz to drive, push them off the 3-point line, and you're going to win. And on offense, you got to attack Rudy Gobert. And teams like the Lakers, they don't care if he blocks your shot. Oh, he blocked my shot. Okay, cool. I'm going to score the next time. Like, he's not blocking LeBron on a regular basis. LeBron's too physical. LeBron's going to put his shoulder in the middle of Rudy's chest and probably get a block and an and one. And if you imagine to the point where, okay, well, what's the matchup? If Anthony Davis is on the block and Gobert is guarding Andre Drummond, I'm telling you, it's a formula for disaster.
Yeah.
And if I'm a Laker fan, I want anybody. I have no smoke with anybody. If I'm a Jazz fan, I am hoping the Lakers win tonight. You are rooting hard for the Lakers to win tonight.
Buy your LeBron jersey.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. Jeremy Bolton said that's a tough argument. We've seen all season long that when the Jazz are on, making threes, etc., they are damn near unbeatable. And Donnie is going to be motivated beyond recognition. I think Donovan Mitchell
is he going to play, though?
Well,
is he going to play?
I think Donovan Mitchell, there's no doubt he wants to win a championship.
Yeah.
He's talked about it. He's acted that way. But, yeah, again, I don't know. I have a Twitter notification on for this. I haven't seen any updates, any significant updates on Donovan Mitchell. I don't know what that looks like.
My gut tells me he's going to play. Even if he's hurt, he's going to play, right? Even if he's not 100%, he's going to play. And I just think that the thing is, I don't remember the guy's name who commented that, but to your point, yes, when they're making their threes, yes, they're really hard to beat. The problem is they don't do that against teams that play elite defense on the perimeter. And that's what the Lakers are capable of doing. They have a roster full of guys who can play great perimeter defense. And whether that is, KCP, who plays pretty solid defense, whether that is Dennis Schroeder, whether that is a Morris who can play pretty solid. He's more of a block defender, I would say, but he can push out a little bit and play some solid defense out there. So you have guys who are capable, and that's my biggest concern. You're saying, hey, well, we've seen all season long when they make their threes, they're really hard to beat. Yeah, I agree with that. But they're not going to do that against the Lakers. The Lakers are not going to permit them to just stand out there and shoot threes. They're going to run them off the 3-point line. They're going to force them into the paint, and they're going to play a physical-ass brand of basketball in the paint at the rim. That's what's going to happen.
Justin Swap, thanks for subscribing to us on YouTube. Appreciate you, sir. Welcome to the show. Marty on Twitter makes an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
The Jazz are slated to play the late game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they're consistently going to get primetime slots on TV?
Yeah, they're the 1 seed. Yeah.
They're the 1 seed.
They should get primetime slots.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but you know why that's interesting to me?
Yeah.
Because I think Jazz fans are sure that the NBA doesn't want the Jazz to succeed and that they're not going to put them in prime. Like, let it go. Let it all go.
To be honest with you guys, man, like, I don't think the NBA gives a damn who it is. I think they're saying, hey, the NBA just wants to make money. That's all Adam Silver's job is to make money, form relationships, and keep the league moving forward.
Yes.
And what? So if TNT or ESPN or whoever is getting those games, they're not going to deny the game because it's the Jazz.
Yeah.
Like they're saying, hey, we got the 1 seed versus the 8 seed this year. That happens to be the Utah Jazz versus the Golden State Warriors, right, or whatever. I mean, they don't really give a damn. Like last night, we're watching this game of Charlotte and Indiana. Who the hell cares about Charlotte and Indiana?
Right.
But then you get the late game is a Tatum, great performance, 50 points out of Jason Tatum, amazing performance. So that's why I say the league doesn't care who it is. They're just saying, okay, we got the 1-8 seed here. You got 2-7. And they just go down the list, and that's that. And frankly, if you're a Jazz fan, you want the Jazz to have the late game because, again, I'm telling you guys, this is a serious behind-the-scenes thing. NBA teams are constantly scouting. So when you're playing the late game, you're definitely watching the early games. You're definitely checking out what these guys are doing. And that's why I'm saying tonight, this game is more than just, oh, well, we're just trying to figure out who we're going to play. This game is about, okay, well, how are the Lakers going to play defense, and what do they look like? What can we expect? This is a learning game if you're the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, and I think it's a huge moment. Ace, my guy Ace. Ace is, and a bunch of people talked about it. Ace said that Donovan Mitchell posted on Instagram he's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I disagree that he said he's good to go because I do follow Donovan Mitchell. And he said it's all fun and games until I want to play too. Or he said something like, it's all fun and games, I want to play too. And I get that. You know, like
where exactly did he say he was good to go?
Yeah, he didn't say he was good to go. I don't know what that means. I think that means he wants to play. I think he'd like to play. And my guess, like I said yesterday, my guess is he will play. I just want them to say Donovan Mitchell's ready to play.
Yeah.
That's what I want. So it's just interesting. Let me get a bunch of comments because we're kind of falling behind. Yeah, Jeremy Bolton says, from Donovan on Instagram, it's all fun and games till I want to play too. I hope he's ready to go. Reed Holmberg, good morning, Reed. He says, I think the Lakers like the idea of being the 7 or 8 seed and then go on a run to win a championship. When's the last time somebody's done that? It's very difficult to win an NBA championship from the bottom of the bracket. It is, man, it's hard to do that. By the way, Bahai says, by the way, I'm not a new guy. I just don't comment a lot, and the ones I do, and when I do, you miss them. I'm Team Bieber on Twitter. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I know Team Bieber on Twitter. Remember the first guy to send the picture of being sub. Yeah, man, appreciate you being here. Brandon Butler says, do the Lakers tank to get the Jazz in the first round? No. The Lakers don't. See, and this is another conversation. I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
Brandon, because I don't think the Lakers, there are teams who tank to get matchups, the Clippers. The Lakers are not a team who fears anybody. I genuinely think the Lakers believe they can beat anybody that's in front of them.
Mainly because they did last year.
And I think they believe that they're the best team in the NBA. And they damn well might be right.
Yeah.
You know, they might be right. I don't think they tank or try to get matchups.
They have 2 Hall of Famers starting in their starting 5. Like, they're a great team.
Yeah, I don't think they're worried about it. Axel Granzini says, yo, good morning, fellas. Apologies for being late.
Yeah, don't be late. That's like 3 of you guys.
How many times have we said this? If you're late, nothing's going to happen. You know, he just wants to get back to playing. Donovan just wants to get back to playing.
I'm sure it's miserable to not be able to play.
Norvis, Red Heart Norvis says, let's say we magically summon a prime Stockton and Malone and the Jazz still not guaranteed to come out of the West on top. We don't, so let's hope we get Golden State to increase our chances.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you got home court advantage. You did your job. The Jazz, and again, I can't remember who it was, and I'll go back and look.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was saying, like, you guys don't even give them credit. I don't know how much more credit we can give.
What is there to say?
Like, I don't know how much more credit we can give. And I hope I can find that comment because it's very interesting to me that I don't know that people want the truth. Randy East on YouTube. He always accuses me of not reading his comments. Well, Randy, welcome to the show. Congratulations, you're YouTube famous.
I love that people get all upset that you won't read their comments as if it's intentional.
Like, man, we get a lot of comments. Not that I'm being arrogant or whatever. We just get a lot of comments. Randy East says, sick of you and Jake picking the Jazz apart. A few months back, it was Bogey. Before that, it was Donovan and everyone else. Why don't you let them play and let's see what they do in the playoffs? Until then, your opinions don't matter. Okay, well, I don't know if you know this. What we do here on the Monty Show is we give opinions on sports. That's what we do. So my opinion is the Jazz are, right now today, the best team in the NBA. Why do I say that? Well, because the record says they're the best team in the NBA. Do I believe that the Utah Jazz are the odds-on favorite to win a championship because they have the best record in the NBA? I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I do. I think that there are real issues with this team, and health is a big one. How healthy is Don? Can we expect Mike Conley to be healthy? Let's say this team gets to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Can we expect this Mike Conley to be healthy?
I don't know. Expect is the wrong word. Hope, yes. Expect, no.
Yeah.
I think if you're Quinn Snyder, you're being very careful with Mike Conley. And it's again, this is not a knock on Mike Conley. This is just the reality that he has to deal with his body, and I think you got to be Quinn and this coaching staff and Mike himself need to be realistic about his body and where he's at. It is not worth saying, oh my God, it's the postseason, my hamstring is sore, let's keep playing, and then the next game you're out the rest of the year. It's not worth that.
Swiss Straw says, I know you hit this yesterday, but do you really believe Mike James would even get 1 minute of time on this team?
Dude. Bro.
No, I'm not going back to Mike James.
Dude. Just, what?
He also says, I appreciate you guys tell the truth on the Jazz. If I wanted the lies, I could just turn on the radio. Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Everybody knows what it is.
It is what it is. James Knight says, any new kicks on the wall, Monty? Well, I mean, I have a Jordan 11 up there. Here's a new kick with my stance socks, by the way. Wore this shoe for the first time yesterday. That's a Jordan 11 low. Love that. My wife actually, Mrs. Monty, has had better luck in the sneaker draws than I have. Mrs. Monty got the Jordan 1 high shadow yesterday.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, well, because people like her and they don't like me. I hate the Jazz, right? But she's been on a hot streak lately.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shoe.
Yeah, she's been look, man, I got like 60 pairs of J's right now. I'm probably good.
What?
Well, what did I say this morning in the vaunted pre-show meeting? I'm actually fairly happy that there's not a Jordan drop in the sneakers app this week, because then I don't have to, I don't have to like contemplate it.
Yeah.
But I've had some good luck outside of Jordans lately. I'm a huge Air Max 90 guy. For those of you who are shoe sneakerheads, if you don't know what a Nike Crater Impact is, I have 2 pairs of those. Those are the most comfortable non-Jordan shoes I own. By the way, we went to the gym and played some hoop yesterday.
Alone.
While I was wearing those Jordan 11s I just showed you. How'd that turn out for you, Jake? Wait, let me put you on camera. Go ahead. How'd that turn out for you?
Well, I beat you twice in around the world, so it worked out great.
The Rack Attack!
You're going to get hit by lightning.
That's not true. It's not true.
I beat you twice in around the world, which is a That's what I do. I beat you twice in 3-point shooting. I'm that talented. Casey Finlinson says, there's a difference between giving credit, fit accomplishments achieved, and expectations going forward. 4 accomplishments achieved, I think. Yeah, I think the Jazz have had a wonderful season. I mean, the scholarship thing, the 3-point shooting thing, they've had a great season. But the regular season's done. It means absolutely nothing other than home court advantage. And I think, man, I should be gentle with this. When you haven't perennially been a championship contender,
you
haven't been through the grind of winning a championship. Fortunately for me in my career, I've covered multiple NBA champions. I've been very fortunate in that light. Watching teams go through that grind, you realize that they realize what happened in January, February, March, April, half of May, just doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is what you do starting Sunday night. That's all that matters. It almost doesn't matter who you even play against. It only matters that you handle your business. Because teams that play at an elite level like the Jazz do when they're right and they're on firing on all 12 cylinders, they don't need the other team.
Yeah.
They need themselves to perform at a very high level. But I think when you're a Jazz fan and you don't see that grind, when you don't see what LeBron goes through to stay healthy, when you watch the Jazz lose in the first round, back-to-back years, and you have a heartbreaking loss to Denver in the bubble, I think you tend to tune out.
Yeah.
And I think you miss a big part of the life lesson that is how you win an NBA championship. You really have to insulate yourself. You have to become a team. You have to grow. You have to get better. And this is the part about the Jazz that I think is a big conversation. Is this the ceiling for the Jazz? Because let me ask you, you've won the best record in the NBA for the first time in the history of your franchise. You're the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA. You're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. Where's the ceiling raising? Where is where do you improve? Where does the growth or improvement for the Jazz come? Because
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, the LA Lakers are a better team this season than they were last season. It's a matter of health for LeBron and Anthony Davis, right? It's a matter of health. If you look at teams like the Phoenix Suns, why are they better? Well, they added Chris Paul, and they've grown and they've developed. This Jazz team is the same team they were in the bubble last year. Are they better? Because to win a championship, you have to improve from day one of the playoffs to the day you raise that chip. Where's the growth opportunity for the Jazz here? That's my one of my major questions about this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the playoffs, I don't know what the growth opportunity is. I thought that they, without adding anything to the roster, I thought that they, took advantage of their opportunities to grow, which is, the evolution of Bojan's game. I think that's obviously been something we've talked about a lot. But overall, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the growth opportunity is in the postseason. I think if you're the Jazz, you're counting on the fact that you're going to make a bunch of threes and you're going to be able to move the ball and get good looks. And I'm not saying they won't be able to do that, but what I am telling you is there's going to come a time when the three ball is not available to you, and that's coming. And I think that Jazz fans don't understand what that reality looks like. They don't understand that, hey, the Lakers are literally going to say, hey, we're not going to let you shoot threes. You want to take it to the cup and lay it in? Great, go ahead. But we're not letting you shoot threes and shoot 50 threes tonight and make 30 of those. That's not going to be a reality for you. And so then, by doing that, you're saying to the Jazz, okay, we've essentially taken away your best tool. Now what do you got?
Yeah.
And that's what I think is going to be the struggle for this team.
Well, and interesting, Jeremy Bolton says, you can't tell me that the Jazz aren't in the Western Conference Finals last year if Bogey's healthy.
Well, candy's and nuts, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you about that.
They're not better than last year. This Jazz team with Bogdanovich is not better.
What are you going to say if they don't make the Western Conference Finals this year? Because I still think that's a big if. That this is no easy road to getting there. Like, you're going to either have to go through one of the three teams. The Lakers, the Clippers, or the Nuggets. And I'm telling you right now, everyone's going to say, we kicked the hell out of the Nuggets when they came here. Well, I'm telling you, we were at that game, and that was maybe half of what the Nuggets have to offer. I'm telling you that right now. You will see a different Nuggets team if they match up. By the way,
doesn't have issues with altitude because they practice and play at altitude in Denver.
Yeah,
So listen, I think I'm not a guy that looks in the rearview mirror. I don't care that they lost last year. I care if you improved out of that loss last year, and clearly they did. This team got better. Quinn really put his foot on the three-point gas and said, hey, all gas, no brakes, shoot the three.
Yep.
All gas, no brakes, shoot the three.
All gas,
I know, I'm trying.
no break.
Thank you.
I'm trying.
Shoot the three. Right? That's a direct quote. We had a microphone in the huddle with Quinn Snyder in training camp, and he was all about that, right?
All gas, no break.
That's not Quinn
How
Snyder.
the fuck else would you do this job?
You don't. You just shoot the three, man. That's it. You just shoot the three. Spencer Morgan says statistically, the Jazz are much better than last year. Absolutely.
Agreed.
But, again, hear me clearly. It's not that you're better than last year. How do you get better during the playoffs?
Yeah.
That's a question. And I think if I look at who are arguably the best teams in the NBA. Okay, well, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what Brooklyn's ceiling is because we haven't seen KD, Harden, and Kyrie on the floor together as a unit. We've seen them in parts, but what have we seen? We've seen that Joe Harris is shooting threes. We know what Jeff Green's doing, which is playing inside and outside. They added quality in Mike James at the point guard for depth. You know that Blake Griffin is giving them some pretty valuable contributions, especially rebounding and I think passing. He's been a surprise as a facilitator. They're getting contributions, but they haven't played together. So their ceiling is higher than we've seen this year. There's no doubt. And by the way, arguably, their current ceiling is best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
So they're going to improve. I think if I look at, the Lakers, I think the Clippers, both those teams have had health issues. We don't know how good they're going to be. And by the way, the Clippers added Rondo. The Lakers, have added Andre Drummond.
Ben McLemore.
Exactly right. The teams that added players haven't played together fully. They're not healthy. I look at the Suns. I think we probably are at the ceiling for the Suns. If they're making threes, they're one of the best, most difficult teams to play against defensively. If they're making threes, that team's very difficult to beat.
Yep.
I think the Denver Nuggets, we don't know. Here's another really good observation on the Nuggets. Somebody said this as well. We don't know who the Nuggets are because they haven't been healthy.
Yeah.
Right? I look at Boston last night. Tell me that Boston didn't play the game of their life last night to win that play-in. And Jason Tatum did what superstars do. He dropped 50, and they won the game. Well, that's all well and good. You're not going to beat the Nets. You're not. Like, that's a fun little ride that you went on there, JT, but it's over now, right?
Yeah.
So we know without all of their complement of players, the Celtics are not better than the Nets. So I bring that up to say every team that's around you got better and has a higher ceiling. I'm just curious, and I'm not saying there's not growth or improvement. I'm curious what that growth and improvement looks like. Right? Because I think we saw the level best that Donovan Mitchell had to offer in the bubble last year. Mm-hmm. He's clearly a more developed player this year than he was last year. So I'm interested to see, now you've missed 6 weeks or 5 weeks. I'm interested to see what he comes out of this injury like.
Rested, for sure.
He should have legs for days. It'll be interesting. Mick says, we have no idea who this Jazz team is. We have no idea what Mike Conley is going to be. Well, I think you know what Mike Conley is going to be. I think Mike Conley is going to be a guy that's going to shoot the three well. He's going to defend with every piece of tenacity he has left in his body. And I think he's a really important player for the Jazz. I think Mike Conley, when he's playing, is still one of the better point guards in the West.
Yeah.
And I think he really is part of the
I just don't know that he makes it through the postseason. I can't honestly say that I believe that.
And I'm not trying to quash that or add a negative to it. I don't think you can count on Mike Conley. Donovan Mitchell is the biggest X factor right now. If he comes back and he's Dandy Don, I mean, this is going to be an incredible run.
Dandy Don. I like that.
Dandy Don.
This
is going to be an incredible run through the Western Conference playoffs.
Yeah.
As long as the Lakers win tonight. Where is Axel Granzini? Utah Jazz are going to break some playoff 3 statistics. Yeah, hey.
I don't think so. I disagree.
The thing that worries you about threes historically, and you tell me if I'm wrong, find me the team that relied on the 3 and won a championship doing it. I wouldn't say...
There's only one.
Well, and you can say the Golden State Warriors, right? Mm-hmm. But that reliance on the 3 also lost them a championship, and injuries lost them a championship. Mm-hmm. You look at other teams. I look at the Houston Rockets. There's no better three-point shooter in the game than James Harden. 0 for 86,000 in that Golden State series, which arguably they may have won if Chris Paul hadn't dropped his groin on the floor. But I'm telling you, teams that rely on the 3 live a dangerous lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they wake up feeling dangerous.
You're doing stuff like this just out of the blue on me, dude.
The point is,
come on.
The Jazz woke up feeling dangerous this morning.
Yeah, okay.
And when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Good. No, it only took you 55 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You're putting me on the cliff here.
Look, if you want to beat, no, I'm not going to do it. Anyway, the point is, this is why when I talk about Bojan Bogdanovic, the game in the post for him, the low block, the drive to the basket, the dunk and get rejected thing has to continue. Bojan has to continue to attack the basket. Because if he does that, it just makes everybody else a better three-point shooter. Right? And if Jordan Clarkson, and it was funny, I can't remember who said it, but there was a comment yesterday that said that Jordan Clarkson is not a point guard, he's a points guard. Right? Get it? Good when he scores a lot of points instead of being... Anyway, the point is... about the point guard who scores a lot of points, the point is he's got to be a little bit more willing to pass the basketball.
Yeah.
Because Bojan Bogdanovic found himself out of rotation against the Blazers. And I maintain that when Jordan Clarkson scores 30 points, they're going to lose. Because that means that there are a lot of opportunities that aren't going to Don and Conley and Bojan. Like, you've got to get Bogey hot. And you've got to keep it. That's one of the biggest concerns I have about the week off for the Jazz is what happens to Mr. Red Shoes.
Yeah, do they come out rusty? Do they come out flaming hot? Like, what's it look like?
Because you don't want to drop game 1 of a series. You don't.
Especially not to the Lakers.
In the first round, you want to come out and you want to bury somebody. That first game in the first round, you want them to understand that they're only here so that you can get tuned up.
Yeah.
They're only here for an exhibition. They're serving a purpose.
Here's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Tonto.
Tonto. You guys came to the slaughter.
Yeah.
That's what you want that first round. Whether that's the Warriors, whoever it might be in the first round.
Yeah.
You came to Salt Lake to die.
Yeah.
That's it.
Legit.
Your season's ending.
Yeah.
Unless you beat us in the game one and we lose home court advantage.
Whatever.
Because again, this is the best home court advantage in the NBA. If we've got 4 and you've got 3, we're winning all 4.
By the way, side note, Jazz easily have the most capacity available in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Bumping
Yeah,
it
I
up to
was looking at
70%.
that. I was looking at that. Yeah, I saw that. Ricky Martinez says Mitchell 27, Bogey 20, Clarkson 25, Conley 14 and 7 dimes, Rudy 14, 14 and 3.
Don't know that you win that game.
Yeah.
I don't know how to break that to you.
Yeah.
Don's going to have to put up, what did he say? What did he say there for Don?
Don 27 points a game.
Yeah, that's not going to be good enough, man.
Okay.
Don's going to need to be 35 to 40.
You ready for this name?
Yeah. Sure.
Thrashy Volusius
Who the f*** is that guy?
Papadopoulos.
Who the fuck are you?
Just tuned in. If we don't play the Lakers in the first round and Don is healthy, we're going very far. Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Brylark says, well, I think it's abundantly clear that Monty and Jake hate the Jazz. It's clear. Forgotten Soul says, bruh, with an arrow pointing up to that comment. Red Heart says, question for you both. What is more urgent for the Jazz to improve? A backup point guard or a stretch 4 scorer? Well, you don't need Mike James, so we know it's not backup point guard.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is, I think you have to get.
Just take it nice and easy, okay? Just relax.
I think you have to get more athletic. I don't care where you do it. You have to have somebody that's the athlete Donovan Mitchell is on the wing.
Yeah, a stretch 4 is
Simply.
going to be more of a priority. You need somebody who is a big who can knock down an elbow jumper because that's going to open up this offense. And when you get that dynamic, that will change what they're able to do because at the end of the day, if you can, and you'll see this tonight out of LeBron and Anthony Davis, when you can pass, when your big can pass and facilitate from the elbow, like the way we see Jokic do all the time, that's gonna get you wide open looks. And for this team, that is of huge value.
By the way, who else in the West are we even looking at? Like, I know we talk a lot of
Looking
Jazz
at
on
for
the
what?
show.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a couple of Clipper fans and a Nuggets fan in here saying, "Hey, are we going to talk anything other than the Jazz?" Well, not usually, but I think one of the things that really stands out to me is that nobody's talking about the ability of the LA Clippers. I think the LA Clippers are the team that nobody's talking about.
Well, what do we know about the Clippers, though? I mean, there's a reason no one's talking about them, which is, yeah, we know they're going to get there. They're going to get to the game. There's no doubt. They are going to beat somebody, and they're going to get to their game of consequence. The issue is that they always lose the game of consequence, so we don't have to worry about them. That's their issue. So this year, they need to prove that they're actually someone that needs to be feared. Like, yes, they had a great regular season. Yes, the addition of Rondo is awesome, and I do think that will bring them together more as a team. But there's only one thing that they have to do here. They have to show that they can win the game of consequence. Don't roll out and show me that you're going to lose a 7-game series in 5 games. I don't want to see that anymore out of this team. I don't want to hear that Paul George had the season of his life, and they've got Kawhi and Rondo, but they couldn't get to the finals because, well, there's those couple of guys on the other side named LeBron and AD. That's not good enough anymore.
You're always the second team in LA until you're not.
Yeah, you got to do that.
I think when you're the LA Clippers, I think every game you win pushes your ceiling up a little higher. But I also am a little hesitant to support a team or believe in a team that plays heavy minutes for Patrick Beverley. I just think he's always a guy. How do I say this? I like J.R. Smith, but J.R. Smith is a guy that you don't win a championship because of J.R. Smith. You win a championship and he happened to be on your team. I think Patrick Beverley's that exact same guy. I don't think Patrick Beverley, and I know everybody talks about Pat Bev as a guy that's a defensive stalwart. Pat Bev's a guy that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And he to me, that's why Rondo is so important for the Clippers. So we'll see about that. I mean, as far as Phoenix goes, now you just need the young guys to do it. And I think you're going to get the Lakers and the Suns. We're going to find out real quick who the Suns are because I'm not a DeAndre Ayton believer, and Cam Johnson's young and he's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any problem saying that. Yeah, sure, we talk a lot of Jazz on this show, but I also think the Jazz are the best team in the Western Conference until somebody beats them.
Yeah.
And so I think we talk a lot of Jazz because they've earned that mantle, by the way. So,
Yeah, I agree.
it'll be interesting. Spencer Morgan says, do you guys really think Jordan Clarkson is leeching shot attempts from Donovan Mitchell? Do you not understand how the Jazz handle their minutes rotation? I don't think it's a matter of rotation. I think here's the problem. When you turn that dog loose, it's awfully difficult to get him off the stake, bro. Like, I mean, when you say to Jordan Clarkson, hey, man, you're our sixth man and we need energy and points. What does Jordan Clarkson do? He shoots. And look, when he's on, he's lit. But Jordan Clarkson misses a lot more threes than he makes. And he tends to force that a little bit. Now, here late in the season, he got in the paint a little bit more. That's great. But I don't think he cares who he's on the court with. He's shooting if he's able to shoot. And I think what we saw when Don was healthy, I think we saw Quinn Snyder taking Conley out late in games. Now, if he's this great scorer, why are you taking him out late in games? Because the ball doesn't ever leave him.
Clarkson. He's taking
Jordan
Clarkson. You said Conley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson out of games.
Yeah.
Because if you give the ball to Jordan Clarkson, he's going to shoot.
Yeah.
Good shot, bad shot, in or out, he's going to shoot. And I think in those situations, the Jazz are a team that thrive on ball movement. Whether there's 20 seconds left or 20 minutes left, they need the ball to move to be their level best. That's not who Jordan Clarkson is.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson's to give it to him and get out of the way.
And I don't think, to respond directly to the commenter, I don't think we ever said that he leeches attempts from Don. I think the point more is that Donovan Mitchell is the best player on this roster, and I'd rather have him taking that load of shots than Jordan Clarkson. Because, again, I'll still maintain when Clarkson's putting up 40, this team is losing. I mean, that's just the simple truth of it.
And by the way, with a healthy Donovan Mitchell, he probably never gets the opportunity to score.
No, I think his best use, with a fully healthy team is, hey, come in, give me 20 to 25 and keep padding that lead while the boys are on the bench. I mean, that's what his best use is.
Yeah, and a lot of people, including Ricky Martinez, saying Clippers lost on purpose. They don't deserve to be talked about. They're cowards. I agree that they lost to set a matchup. But I think if you don't, I don't have a problem with that.
I don't understand why. So let me say this first. Generally speaking, I do have an issue with so-called tanking, right?
Yeah.
But I think what the Clippers did is different than tanking, which is to say, it's not like they said, oh, well, we have a really good team and we're just going to lose all year to try to get some draft picks. They're not doing that, right? Obviously. What they did here is they said, hey, we want to face a certain team, so let's just conveniently rest our players, and then let's give ourselves a more ideal route through the postseason.
Wouldn't you rather face, it was the Mavericks or the Blazers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the Mavericks over the Blazers. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, that's not even a contest.
And that's why I say, I don't. If you're an NBA fan, I guess you could be frustrated with it, but I just don't think it's that big of an issue.
I mean, if you look at the matchups right now that we know of, you're looking at a 3-6 Denver-Portland and a 4-5 Clipper-Dallas Maverick matchup. I'd much rather have Dallas.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'd much rather have Dallas at home.
Yes.
Right. And
yes.
Portland doesn't care where you play. Dame's going to make a shot and beat you. It just doesn't matter.
As Paul George knows very well.
Yeah. And by the way, I think Luka Doncic can be had. He's soft. His mom's hot, but he's soft, right? I think that you don't know what you're going to get out of Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
I think that dynamic is awkward. I'd much rather have the Mavericks than the Blazers. I have no problem with what the Clippers did.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. Wow, you guys are amazing. There are a ton of comments, so forgive me if I'm trying to keep up here. Spencer Morgan says, you do understand they can just take Jordan Clarkson out of the game. Monty said a bit ago that JC was taking shot attempts away from Don. No, what I said was, when Jordan's in the game, I think the rotation stops, and it's less shots for everybody.
Well, that's definitely true.
I think what we've seen is Jordan Clarkson absolutely took shots away from Bojan Bogdanovic. That's not even a question.
Yeah.
When he's in the game, against Portland, there was a phantom foul called. He shot a 3 out of a double team on the sideline. Like, you need to move the basketball.
Yeah.
Now, it worked out. The ball went in. He got a 4-point play out of it, but the ball stops moving.
Yeah.
And I do think if Jordan Clarkson's in the game, I don't think he cares who's on the floor. He's going to get his.
Yeah. Well, and they were talking about it, too. I can't remember if it was ESPN or who it was, but they had specifically talked about the fact that the reason that he stayed in Utah is because he can be himself, and his teammates don't get upset with him. And I think there's definitely a certain value in that. And like I said, it's not that what what he brings is so terrible, right? Like, the issue just is that when they're playing, let's say they're playing the Lakers, you can't afford to have him come in and not move the ball, because he's going to dribble right into a double team. He's going to be forced to move the ball. And that's why I'm saying the regular season experience with Jordan Clarkson is going to be very different than postseason experience with Jordan Clarkson. And that's what I think we have to understand and accept here. Teams are not just going to allow Jordan Clarkson to come in the game and shoot a bunch of shots and get hot. That they're not going to allow that.
I would agree
They're
with
going
that.
to force you to move the ball. They're going to force you to work deep into the shot clock. That's what
And
it
there's
realistically
nothing. And
looks like.
There's nothing. Listen. Jordan Clarkson's a great sixth man. He's going to win sixth man of the year. He's earned it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Best NBA show on YouTube. Great job. I appreciate that. Cody Strickland says you guys killed this chat with Clippers talk. LOL. They threw a game to make sure they don't have the Lakers, and PG will always know who his daddy is.
Let's go.
Love that. Vladimir Svetic. Hey, Svetic.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Well, his name is Vladimir Svetic. Says, Brooklyn will not win the championship. Believe me, there are too many stars. Only that they kill 3 balls at once so that everyone plays with their own. Well, I think what we've seen is Brooklyn executes in the half court. And that, to me, is really what separates them and makes them elite, is that you have a guy in Kevin Durant. Now, Jake is keep your pants on. Hands above the table, please. Thank you. You have a guy in Kevin Durant who, it doesn't matter who you put on him. 6-footer, 7-footer, he's shooting over you.
God bless.
And well, there you go. And it is pure. It is the bottom. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving execute incredibly well in the half court.
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
And you know what is amazing to me about Kyrie Irving right now? He's actually driving and kicking a little more. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing that when they get out on the break, and again, not to keep waxing poetic or slurping Mike James, because it seems the list of slurpification is getting longer, Jake.
Right.
But not to keep talking about Mike James, but did you notice that they're playing Mike James and Kyrie together a lot?
Yes, it's a nice mix.
And
Kyrie Irving is not a point guard.
No.
Like, people need to understand this.
No.
He's not a point guard. He is a scoring guard. Mike James will play a lot of point for this team. He will ball handle, and he will feed these other guys. And that, to me, again, whether you know nothing about Mike James and the fact that he's a Euro MVP and he's doing a lot of great things for them, or you know how good he is, the fact is that he's got a simple purpose in life right now, which is, hey, don't turn the ball over and get it to the best scoring guys in the world. That's all I got to do.
Because Mike James understands what I think a lot of point guards in this league don't. Mm-hmm. If you give the ball up and you do your job away from the ball, you're going to get the ball back. And I think that the best teams in the NBA play with that philosophy. It's why Jordan Clarkson, we're having this conversation. Jordan Clarkson doesn't give the ball up.
Yeah.
And it tends to slow their offense down. But I think the Nets are going to do just fine.
Yeah.
Granzini says the Jazz can win against the Nets if the Jazz are healthy, and if the Nets see bodies, the Jazz can make their shots, but they have to make their shots. Yeah, the Jazz have to make 3 balls to win.
Simple
as
as that.
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. LBL 307 says Mike James played for the Suns. Yeah, there's a Mike James interview on our channel of him playing for the Suns. The Dot says, yeah, I should have known it only took you guys an hour. Well, an hour and 6 minutes. It only took you guys an hour to go off on Mike James.
The rack attack.
As Jake would say, we get it. Well,
Hey.
we get it. Jake's license plate literally says we get it.
That's quite enough. We get it.
By the way, Granzini says, good luck to the Jazz. Brandon Whiteside, good morning to you. If the Nets and LeBron don't win this year, I'm sure the Nets will recruit LeBron, and the Nets need him, LOL. Mental midgets in this era. I wish the Jazz would recruit LeBron James.
No, but LeBron will never come to Utah. He won't come to Utah.
Great, have him say no. I see, like, this is the thing that blows my mind. If you could get LeBron James to leave Cleveland and come to Utah, would you have done it?
Yes.
Of course you would have
Twice
done
on
it.
Sunday.
Why weren't you complaining when Carlos Boozer screwed the Cavs and came to the Jazz? Well, because he came to the Jazz and you were happy about that, right? I'm telling you, if you could do what Golden State and the Lakers and the Nets have done, you would. If you could be the Miami Heat, you would love that. I'm telling you, that's the way that the NBA is going. Is Donovan Mitchell going to recruit or get recruited?
Whatever.
One way or the other, it's going to happen.
Yep.
I'm just telling you that right now. Don is too good. He's too elite. He's one of the best. And I think in the next 5 years, I think there's a chance Donovan Mitchell wins an MVP in the next 5 years.
I would agree.
I think he has a legitimate shot at that.
He's coming.
And what usually happens, think about Michael Jordan in this next comment. When guys get hurt, when elite guys get hurt, and they have time to watch, it changes who they are as basketball players.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant's talked about that. Michael Jordan talked about the fact that the broken foot changed him, and when they were trying to limit his minutes against the Celtics in the playoffs after the foot. And Donovan Mitchell is a guy that doesn't sit around blindly. Mm-hmm. He's watching. He's observing. He's watching Jason Tatum drop 50 last night.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
What do you want to bet that guys are already recruiting Donovan Mitchell?
Oh, it's already happening. No doubt.
No doubt about it.
The Kyrie, Kevin Durant thing to Brooklyn was 5 years in the making, dude.
Granzini says ski Bron to Utah. That's what I'm talking about. Do you think having Dwayne Wade as part of the organization? No, it doesn't. I like Dwayne Wade, but the best young players in this league never saw LeBron and Wade play together. And I think that that's waning because this league is getting younger and younger. How many games do you really think Lonzo or LaMelo Ball saw Dwayne Wade and LeBron James play together? Maybe a half dozen, maybe a dozen, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think there's an interesting conversation there.